My name is Rachel Whitmore. I'm 29 years old, and at the time this story begins, I worked in back-end logistics for a national shipping firm. It wasn't glamorous, but it was stable, predictable, the kind of job that quietly pays bills and doesn't beg for applause. That stability used to bother my boyfriend, Jason Keller. Jason was 26. He called himself a brand consultant, which mostly meant posting curated photos, attending launch parties, and waiting for the right person to notice him. He didn't like the word unemployed. He preferred between opportunities, expensive ones. For 2 years, we lived together in a downtown apartment that I paid for. Rent, utilities, the lease on the black Audi Jason loved posing next to, dinners that appeared on his feed, trips he tagged, clothes he unboxed with practiced enthusiasm. I wasn't featured much, just occasionally cropped in reflections or tagged as support. I told myself that was fine. I wasn't dating him for the internet. The night everything ended started like any other compromise. We were driving to a launch party for a new boutique agency warehouse venue, Velvet Rope's influencer crowd. It mattered to Jason. He said it could be career-defining. Venture capital guys, creative directors, people who invested in potential. He spent hours getting ready. He looked incredible. Tailored jacket, perfect hair, confidence sharpened like a blade. But the energy in the car was wrong. Usually I drove with one hand, his fingers laced through mine. That night, Jason pressed himself against the passenger door, scrolling aggressively, sighing, checking the guest list again and again. "You're wearing that?" he asked, still looking at his phone. I glanced down at myself. Black dress, clean lines, professional. "Yes. Is there a problem?" "It's just very corporate," he muttered. "Evan's going to be in designer streetwear. You look like you're here to audit them." Evan, the host, the connection. I didn't respond. We were 5 minutes away. Jason snapped the visor shut and turned to me. His tone changed, soft, rehearsed, the voice he used when he wanted something costly. "Okay, listen. Tonight is really important for me. Like everything important." "I know," I said. "I'm here to support you." He hesitated, then sighed dramatically. "That's the thing. The optics are tricky." My chest tightened. "If I walk in with a girlfriend," he continued, "especially one who looks so settled, it kind of kills the vibe. Guys like Evan invest in availability. They want to feel like they're discovering someone." I kept my eyes on the road, and he swallowed. "So I was thinking, maybe tonight we don't arrive together." Silence filled the car. "What does that mean?" I asked. He rushed forward now. "Just for the party. You park around the corner. Come in later. If anyone asks, we're just friends. Or roommates. Don't stand too close. Don't hold my hand. Definitely don't kiss me." Each sentence landed heavier than the last. "Just let me be the main character for a few hours," he added, smiling hopefully. "Please." I felt something inside me click. Not pain, not anger, just clarity. I looked at him, not the man I thought I loved, but someone evaluating whether I fit his aesthetic, whether I was useful or inconvenient. In the past, I would have argued, explained my worth, asked why I wasn't enough. This time I smiled. "Okay," I said calmly. Jason blinked. "Really?" "Of course," I replied. "I want you to get exactly what you're looking for tonight." Relief flooded his face. He clapped his hands softly. "You're amazing. Thank you." He didn't say he loved me. We reached the venue. He jumped out quickly, adjusting his jacket. "Give me 10 minutes," he said. "And Rachel, don't come in before 9:15. He didn't look back. I watched him disappear into the lights, already wearing his performance smile. Then I put the car in drive and went home. The drive back was quiet in a way that felt intentional, like the city itself had decided to lower its volume for me. I turned off the radio. I didn't want distraction. I needed to think clearly. People assume leaving is the dramatic part. It isn't. Leaving is logistics. I pulled into the garage beneath our building at 9:22 p.m. Jason was probably ordering his first drink by then, scanning the room for Evan, convinced I was circling the block exactly as instructed. The elevator ride up felt longer than usual, each floor ticking past like a countdown I'd already accepted. When I opened the apartment door, the place smelled like Jason's cologne and the expensive candle he'd lit while getting ready the one I bought because he said cheaper ones ruined the mood. Everything looked normal. Too normal. I didn't wander. I didn't sit down. I went straight to the bedroom and pulled my suitcases from the closet. There's a certain efficiency that only shows up when emotions finally stop arguing with reality. I didn't panic. I didn't rush. I followed rules I didn't know I had until that moment. Essentials only. Clothes, shoes, toiletries, work laptop, external hard drives, passport, birth certificate, jewelry my grandmother left me, the framed photo of my father that used to sit on my desk, things that couldn't be replaced. I left the furniture. I left the television. I left the dishes I paid for and the espresso machine Jason insisted made him feel creative. Stuff is negotiable. Dignity isn't. By 9:45, my side of the closet was empty. My nightstand drawer held nothing but dust. In the bathroom, I scooped my things into a canvas bag and wiped down the counter out of habit, then stopped myself. I wasn't cleaning up after him anymore. At 9:52, I sat at the kitchen island and opened my banking app. We had a joint account for household expenses. In practice, it covered rent, groceries, and Jason's last-minute purchases, things that were always investments until they weren't. I transferred exactly half of the remaining balance into my personal account. Not revenge, accounting. Then I removed my card from his rideshare apps, his online shopping accounts, and the food delivery services logged into my phone. I didn't block him yet. That would come later. At 10:08, I carried the suitcases down to the car. 2 trips, no hesitation. When I came back up for the last time, the apartment felt strangely hollow, like it had already accepted my absence. I placed my key on the counter beside the empty wine bottle Jason had drained while getting ready. I didn't leave a note. Notes invite debate. Debate invites manipulation. I was done participating. The lock clicked behind me with a finality that surprised even me. I didn't go to a friend's place. I didn't go to my sister's. I drove straight to the St. Regis downtown, checked into a suite under my own name, and ordered a bourbon I barely tasted. At 10:45 p.m., I sat by the window, city lights spread out beneath me, like proof that the world was still moving forward without my permission. Jason hadn't noticed yet. That thought didn't hurt the way it should have. It felt confirming. I set my phone face down on the table and let the quiet settle in. The pretending was over. The first buzz came at 10:57 p.m. I didn't look at my phone. I knew what it would be. An impatient check-in, a casual, "Where are you?" meant to make sure I was still orbiting within range. The second buzz followed less than a minute later. Then another. I turned the glass slowly in my hand, watching the ice crack against itself, listening to the low hum of the city through the sealed hotel windows. The silence in the room was indulgent. No background television, no commentary about how my job drained the vibe. Just me and the truth I'd been avoiding for 2 years. By 11:40 p.m., the buzzes had turned into rapid-fire vibrations. Missed calls, texts stacking up like unpaid invoices. I still didn't look. At 12:42 a.m., the phone rang again, this time long enough to matter. I glanced at the screen. Jason. I let it ring 3 times. Then I answered and set it on speaker. "Where the hell are you?" His voice cracked through the room, half slurred, half panicked. Wind roared into the microphone. He was outside. "Hello, Jason," I said evenly. "Don't hello me," he snapped. "I've been standing out here forever. The valet says the car isn't here. Did you move it?" "No," I replied. "I left." Silence. "What do you mean you left?" His tone dropped, confusion bleeding through the anger. "You went to get gas or something?" "No," I said. "I went home." Another pause, shorter this time, sharper. "You went home?" His breathing changed. "Why would you do that? You have the car. How am I supposed to get back?" I leaned back in the chair. "You can take an Uber." "I can't," he snapped. "My phone's on 4% and the surge is insane. Just come get me. Hurry. I'm freezing." There it was. No apology, no awareness, just expectation. "How was the networking?" I asked casually. "Did Evan impress you?" He exhaled hard. "Don't do this. Evan's whatever. He left with some girl from TikTok an hour ago. The party was lame. I just want to go home." I closed my eyes. Plan A had failed. The upgrade hadn't materialized. The fantasy had collapsed, and now the safety net was being summoned back into place. "I can't pick you up," I said. What his voice spiked. "Why not?" "I'm just following your instructions." "My what instructions?" In the car, I said, "You asked me to pretend I wasn't with you tonight. You said it was important for your brand. You wanted to look single." He groaned. "I meant for the party, Rachel. The party's over. You can stop pretending now." I looked out at the skyline lights blinking like distant witnesses. "That's the thing," I said quietly. "I'm not pretending anymore." He laughed nervously. "Stop joking. This isn't funny. Just come get me." "I'm not joking." There was a beat of silence long enough for realization to start forming. "Please," he said finally. "I'm cold." "I'm still pretending," I replied, and ended the call. I slept better than I had in years. When I woke at 8:00 a.m., my phone looked like a disaster report. 46 missed calls from Jason. 13 from Sarah, his closest friend and loudest defender. Dozens of messages. I ordered room service eggs, Benedict, and coffee, and scrolled while I ate. The messages told a familiar story, just accelerated. 12:55 a.m. Denial. Where are you? Pick up. This isn't funny. 1:30 a.m. Anger. Why is the closet empty? Did we get robbed? Where are your things? 2:10 a.m. Bargaining. Rachel, please call me. I'm scared. We can talk. 3:47 a.m. Desperation. I love you. Please come home. 6:02 a.m. Rage. You're a psychopath. Sarah says what you did was abusive. I open the message from Sarah. Stranding a man downtown at night is dangerous. This is emotional violence. You need to fix this before I tell everyone what you did. I didn't argue. I took a screenshot instead, one Jason had sent me 3 weeks earlier. Can you transfer the rent early? I bought that jacket for the event, and I'm short. Then I replied to Sarah. He asked me to pretend we weren't together. I respected his wishes. Also, the rent is due on the 1st. It's in his name. Make sure he handles it. I set my phone down. The pretending had consequences now. By noon, Jason had decided on a narrative. I saw it the same way everyone else did, white text on a black background posted to his Instagram story, heavy with line breaks and selective truth. I don't usually share personal things. It began. But last night was the scariest night of my life. I was abandoned downtown by the person I trusted most. Blindsided, heartbroken. You never really know someone. A final slide followed, tagged with hashtags that felt rehearsed. Survivor, #healing, #boundaries. The comments flooded in fast. You deserve better. Men get treated like this all the time and no one talks about it. Stay strong. I felt a flicker of irritation, not anger, not regret. Just the familiar annoyance of watching someone weaponize sympathy. But I didn't respond, I didn't post, I didn't explain. Silence, I was learning, unsettles liars more than confrontation ever does. Around 10:15 a.m., my phone buzzed with an automated email from the apartment complex. Payment pending, rent due. I logged into the portal and removed my bank account as an authorized payment method. Then I logged into the utility account's electricity internet cable, all under my name. I didn't shut anything off. That would have crossed a line. Instead, I scheduled a transfer of service for 48 hours later. 2 days. Enough time to act. Not enough time to manipulate. At noon, I checked social media again. Not his account, but the agencies that had hosted the party. They'd posted a recap reel. Music, smiling faces, champagne flutes catching the light. And there was Jason, leaning in toward Evan, laughing too loudly, touching his arm like familiarity could be manufactured. Evan looked distracted, already scanning past him. In the next clip, Evan exited with a woman Jason had never met, her hand tucked casually into his elbow. I closed the app. I didn't need to correct the story. Reality had already done the work. 2 days later, an email arrived. Subject, please read. Rachel, I'm sorry about the party. I was stressed. I didn't mean it the way it came out. But the leasing office says the rent is overdue. I don't have it. You know I don't. If we don't pay, they're going to evict me. Please just cover this month and we can figure things out. I read it twice. This was the same man who said I was safe, who implied my presence dulled his shine, who wanted independence only when it was subsidized. I replied once. Hi, Jason. I can't help. I'm saving my money for someone who's proud to be seen with me. Independence starts with paying your own bills. Good luck. I didn't wait for his response. 3 months passed. My life didn't explode into something flashy. It quietly improved. I moved into a loft with exposed brick and no white-on-white minimalism. I bought furniture I liked without asking if it photographed well. I started going to the gym at 6 in the morning because I wasn't staying up late listening to complaints about algorithms and engagement. My bank account recovered. My mind did too. I heard through mutual acquaintances, the few who stayed neutral, that Jason had been evicted. He was couch surfing at Sarah's place now. Apparently her men are trash philosophy strained under the reality of unpaid utilities. I thought that would be the end. I was wrong. The message came on a Tuesday morning. Not a text, not a call. An email, formal, careful, stripped of emojis and bravado. From Jason Keller, subject, can we talk? I didn't open it right away. I already knew what it would say. Independence always sounds romantic until the invoices arrive. When I did open it, the tone was different, smaller. Rachel, I know you're upset, and I get why, but things have gotten really bad. I've been trying to figure it out on my own like you wanted. It's not working. I just need help getting back on my feet. No apology, no accountability, just a reframing like you wanted. I closed the laptop and went to work. By lunchtime, he'd escalated. Another email. They locked me out today. I had to get my stuff from the hallway. I don't have anywhere to go long term. Please, just one conversation. I felt something then, but it wasn't guilt. It was exhaustion. The kind that comes from realizing someone is still trying to extract emotional labor after losing financial access. That evening, I took a long walk through my neighborhood. The air was cold, clean. My phone stayed silent. At 9:17 p.m., a third email arrived. I never wanted to hide you. I was trying to build something for us. You know that. If I hadn't pushed, we'd still be stuck. I stared at the screen. It was impressive, really, how quickly history could be rewritten when survival was on the line. I typed my reply carefully. One draft, no edits. Jason, you didn't hide me to build a future. You hid me because you thought you could do better. You didn't fall, you miscalculated. I'm not responsible for cushioning that mistake. Please stop contacting me. I blocked the email address. For 2 weeks, there was nothing. Then, on a Friday afternoon, as I was leaving my office building, I saw him. Jason stood near the planter boxes holding a large manila envelope like a peace offering. He looked different. The polish was gone. His hair was pulled back carelessly. The clothes were clean but tired items that had lived too long without replacements. Rachel, he said softly, stepping forward. I was hoping I'd catch you. I stopped a few feet away. What are you doing here? Some of your mail came to Sarah's place, he said quickly. Tax stuff. I didn't want you to miss it. The envelope was thin, too thin. You could have returned it to sender, I said. His hand dropped. His eyes filled perfectly timed. I just wanted to see you. I checked my watch. I'm on a lunch break. 5 minutes, he pleaded, moving closer. Please. I messed up, he continued before I could respond. I was under pressure. I didn't mean to make you feel invisible. I did it for us. I met his eyes. You did it for access, I said calmly, not love. That's not fair, he whispered. I've been miserable without you. She's impossible. I just want to come home. There it was. Not to me, home. He reached for my hand. I stepped back. You don't miss me, I said. You miss the logistics. He stared at me confused. The rent, the car, the safety net, I continued. That seat is empty now. I'm not selling another ticket. I walked past him. He called my name once, then again. I didn't pretend not to hear. I just didn't turn around. I thought that encounter would be the last time I saw Jason's face up close. I was wrong, but not in the way he probably hoped. Life has a way of testing boundaries you've already drawn, just to see if the ink is permanent. 2 months passed. Quiet ones. Productive ones. My routine settled into something solid. Mornings at the gym, evenings in my loft with music I liked, and silence that felt earned. Work was steady. My confidence, something I hadn't realized I'd been rationing, came back in full. That's when Jason tried again. Not directly. Indirect attempts are always more revealing. I started noticing his name popping up in places it shouldn't have. A LinkedIn profile view. A mutual acquaintance casually mentioning, "Oh, Jason asked how you were doing." Once I got a calendar invite for an industry networking mixer, I hadn't RSVP'd to his name listed under guest of. He was orbiting again. Then came the text. From an unknown number. Hey Rachel, it's Jason. I know you blocked me. I won't keep bothering you. I just need to return something of yours. I stared at the screen longer than I should have. I didn't respond. 5 minutes later, another message arrived. It's important, I promise. I sighed and typed one line. Leave it with the building concierge. The reply came instantly. I don't have access. Can I just give it to you? 5 minutes. That's all. There it was again. 5 minutes. Always 5 minutes. I didn't answer. That evening, as I was leaving the gym, I saw him standing across the street. Jason looked thinner now. Not in a flattering way, more like gravity had finally caught up with him. He held a small padded envelope in one hand, eyes scanning the sidewalk until they landed on me. He crossed immediately. I didn't know where else to go, he said, breathless. I tried calling the building, but... What is it? I interrupted. He held up the envelope. Your old USB drive. I found it in a jacket pocket. I thought you'd want it. I knew that drive. I'd wiped it before I left. There's nothing on it, I said. I didn't know that he replied quickly. I just didn't want to throw it away. I took the envelope. It was light, symbolic. Thanks, I said. I turned to leave. Rachel, wait. His voice cracked, not theatrically this time. Just tired. Can we talk? I'm not asking for anything. I hate how things ended. I stopped, but I didn't face him. They ended exactly how they needed to, I said. I wasn't trying to replace you, he insisted. I just didn't want to be small. I finally looked at him. You didn't want to be seen with me, I corrected. There's a difference. He swallowed. I see it now. That's the problem, I said calmly. You only see clearly once there's something you can't get back. His shoulders sagged. I hope you find what you're looking for, I added. Not cruelly, not kindly, just honestly. I walked away. This time he didn't follow. And for the first time, I knew he wouldn't try again. Because the excuse had finally run out. The strangest part of healing was how unremarkable it looked from the outside. No grand announcements, no revenge glow-up montage, just small, consistent upgrades that added up to a life that finally felt like mine. I settled into my loft, fully hung art that didn't need to match a feed, bought a leather couch I'd wanted for years, cooked meals without photographing them first. I stopped apologizing for liking stability. I stopped explaining why I didn't want more. At work, I started getting noticed. Not because I was louder, but because I was focused. I took on a cross-department project that everyone else avoided and quietly turned it around. My manager stopped by my desk one afternoon and said, I don't know how you do it so calmly. I smiled. I don't waste energy anymore. That was true in more ways than one. It was around then that I met Caleb. We crossed paths at the gym at 6 in the morning, both half awake, both regulars, who preferred consistency over spectacle. He was an architect, organized, direct. He returned his weights without being asked. Our first conversation was about form. The second was about coffee. The third lasted long enough to turn into dinner. Caleb didn't ask what I did online. He asked what I liked doing when no one was watching. He drove his own car, paid for his own life. And when he introduced me to friends, he didn't position me, he included me. There was no rush, no performance, just presence. I didn't post about him. Some things deserve privacy. By the time December arrived, my life felt full in a way it never had before. Not louder, just solid. That's when the invitation came. Company holiday party rooftop lounge. It was the kind of place Jason used to talk about like a goalpost, exclusive, expensive, out of reach, without the right connections. Caleb and I arrived together. He wore a suit that fit because it was tailored for him, not because it trended well. His hand rested easily at my lower back as we moved through the space. People greeted us. Introductions were made. I felt visible. Halfway through the night, I noticed the catering staff. Black slacks, white button-downs, neutral expressions. And then I saw him. Jason stood near the entrance holding a tray of champagne flutes. His posture was stiff, his smile rehearsed. He looked tired, invisible in the way he once feared I made him look. He hadn't seen me yet. Then he did. The tray wobbled slightly in his hands. His eyes tracked the scene. The tailored suit he once mocked my colleagues, laughing with me and Caleb, leaning in to whisper something that made me smile without thinking. Jason took a step forward like muscle memory had kicked in. Caleb noticed my gaze. Do you know him? He asked quietly. I looked at Jason, the tray, the desperation flickering behind his eyes. I thought about the car ride, the request. Pretend we're not together. I turned back to Caleb and smiled. No, I said. I don't think so. Caleb squeezed my hand. We walked toward the balcony city lights unfolding beneath us. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The city looked different from the rooftop. Not brighter, not richer, just wider, like there was finally space to breathe. Caleb rested his forearms against the railing, the winter air lifting the edges of his jacket. You okay? He asked, not prying, not performing concern. I am, I said, and realized I meant it without checking myself. Behind us, laughter rose and fell. Glasses clinked. Music carried softly through the open doors. Inside that room were people I worked with, people who respected me, people who knew my name without needing it attached to someone else's brand. I felt Caleb's hand brush mine again, steady and unclaimed. No tension, no calculation. Across the room, Jason stood frozen for a long moment. I didn't see him the way I used to through memory, through obligation, through softened edges. I saw him the way everyone else did now, part of the background. A service role. Someone moving quietly through other people's moments. He adjusted his grip on the tray and forced a smile for a guest who didn't look at his face. Once that invisibility terrified him. Once he asked me to absorb it for him. I wondered if he finally understood the cost of that request. Caleb leaned closer. Want to head out soon? I'm good whenever you are. In a minute, I said, I just want to enjoy this. We stood there watching the skyline stretch endlessly, the future unbothered by what I'd left behind. I didn't feel victorious. I didn't feel cruel. I felt finished. When we went back inside, Jason was already gone. Shift ended, or courage exhausted. It didn't matter. Nothing he did or didn't do mattered to me anymore. Later that night, as Caleb and I rode the elevator down, I caught my reflection in the mirrored wall. Calm. Present. unburdened. I thought about the woman I had been in that car months ago, the one who smiled and said okay while quietly choosing herself.